Okay, this is part 2. So in part 1, we went into the dragon, the plant, and the animal medicine as it relates to communication within courtship. All right, so whether this is for you dating, whether this is for you being in union, it's communication in general as within the masculine and feminine within ourselves. So feel free to check out part 1 if it's of interest to you, if you're wanting more specificity. But I'm going to do another set of cards in relation to this, and then I will perhaps weave them all together. I will. I know that I will. I'm really into that. Funny thing, highlights from the first video is I kept having a little spider crawling on me, which it felt like a feminine in essence. Okay, so now we're going to get into the more nitty-gritty energies, but I'm going to start with bringing in the Lumerian energy for both, because this is going to kind of sum up how we're moving forward in this. So, and I'm reading for both the masculine, the feminine, and the shared energy between the two. All right, wonderful. All right, so the first card that comes up is Gracious Receptivity. If there were a manual for optimal human experience, one of the most important points would be gratitude. It is the backbone of any spiritual practice. When we shift our perspective from what we are lacking and needing and desiring, we temporarily place the survival factor and the resonance for thriving. Giving and receptivity is a two-way flow. Each allows space for the other. Gratitude, self-love, and self-worth are woven into the capacity to receive. Together, they nourish the soul. Step into your heart space by listing all that you are grateful for, and notice how full you start to feel. From here, your giving capacity can spiral upward. Great. Okay, this is really good feminine medicine, right? And it ties in, with our green dragon. It ties in with the breakthroughs, and it ties in with the intention of the skunk energy, right? From the first reading. Now, the reason we are tapping into more generosity is we do have to balance our giving and receiving. I know for myself, a big part of the last year has been to check into how I am overextending. All right. So often I'm the one to initiate contact. I'm the one making all the food. I'm planning all the trips. I'm doing all of that. And while that is something that I do enjoy, I wasn't getting a good balance of it back in a lot of components of my life. And so I've really taken a step back and said, okay, I want to co-create, and I want to be in co-creative relationships, whether in my business, within my personal life, in my friendships, within my romance, within my families. And anywhere I'm not feeling that like somewhat balanced give and take, I'm going to step back and I'm going to match the energy. And it's not even about matching the energy. It's about showing up in a way that feels balanced and good for you. And sometimes we do have to show up a little more for others. A few years ago, I went through a very dense grief experience, and I couldn't even feed myself. And my dear friend came and filled my fridge with things that I could just grab and drink, like little smoothies and like ham rolls. That's not what they're like, salami and cheese. They were amazing, but it's all I could do to eat during that time is to have something I could just touch and instantly put in my mouth. Don't take that out of context, please. So, being in your grace is receptivity. Also, let's just take a moment and be grateful that we get to connect on this platform, that we get to connect and be together, that we get to connect with our own hearts, with our higher selves, with the Mother Earth. Like, we are in such a beautiful time. Also, it's spring and the days are getting longer, and that always feels so good. Also, let's be grateful that we get to connect, whether energetically, physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, like with an outer beloved. Like, just having a dance is such a gracious gift. And I love dancing. And I want the dance to be good and fluid, but sometimes it's clunky and there's feet getting stepped on, which is kind of often why I'm sure you're watching this YouTube video, because you're like, man, our dance is clunky. I don't want it. Okay, so I'm still shuffling. Oh, great. And the card that came out for the masculine is Earth, nurture, nature. Now, how interesting, because our dragon energy for the feminine was the green dragon, which was a lot of earth energy, right? It was a lot of embodying the goddess. So this tells me there's some progression coming along here. That it's like, as we continue to do our trajectory of the work, and again, we have to check in with both energies because there's both masculine and feminine. But I almost see this too, like stewarding the earth, you know, for our inner. If you've been out like just laying in the sun and swimming in the rivers, like wonderful, be in your feminine. But also, what is it to tend to the land? You know, do you have some gardening that you need to do? Like, and it can be very feminine principle, but we're integrating the masculine because we're integrating some of the structure that helps the flow continue to move. Now, I also love this for the masculine because it really shows me that he's starting to integrate these new earth energies as well. And there's hope. All right. This is a very connective card. When I look at it, it feels so, there's so much illumination, there's so much presence, you know, there's clear roots. There's also a lot happening right now between the masculine and feminine connections as it involves the tree of life coming back into proper placement, right? So it's like the sacred things are being woven and intertwined and expanded as the masculine and feminine components, not just one and separate of the other. All right, so that's really beautiful. The card that comes up for the both of them is Radical Expansion. Heck yeah. Okay, what is this voice today that I keep using? Okay, it is time for radical ways of being and thinking. You can start by granting yourself freedom and the creativity to be you. Unleash your inner rainbow dragon and unapologetically claim your heart-based empowerment and radiantly unconventional gifts. You can be as big as your energy wants to be. Let go of limiting stories that take up all the space you need. Have fun unleashing who you are. As bold and radical as your ideas and offerings might be, they could just be a bit of what the world was waiting for. What the world wants. Be the masterpiece your soul always wanted you to be. Now, I love this being in the third energy of the two, because it really shows me that in these union energies, you know, that there's power in this, right? As we connect deeper with our own internal unions, and we connect with our external unions with our outer beloveds, like, we are able to unleash more gifts. We are able to feel more confident. And I know that as I felt more love and support within my own life and kind of connected to falling back in love with myself, that I've been getting more feedback externally of how lovely I am, you know, and it feels good. And I also just feel better and more grounded in connections. I don't feel like I'm running away from them. I feel like I'm present with the hard stuff. And, I think it's not, I just feel that way. I'm seeing it show up. It's an active reality. I didn't read the back of this card because it's Earth. Nurture nature. It's pretty self-explanatory. But it does say that all experiences, those categorized as good or bad, are a part of the natural cycle that allows for the continuation of life. So allow that. And allow nature to hold you. Oh, I love that. That's so beautiful. I'm going to do that. All right, so now we're going to check in. We brought in those Lemurian energies. We're going to check in with the internal world going on as it relates to communication. With you and your outer beloved, and you and your inner beloved, your inner masculine and feminine. So we're starting with the feminine. Seeing what's happening internally. The Enchanter. Yep, that goes on with our breakthrough card with the ginkgo, right? I said the Sorcerer's Arm. Again, that's from the first video. All right, I love that. I'll show it in a second. So the Enchanter card, as it relates to the feminine. Now, that is the wizard. It is, what I really see when that card comes up is being intentional about the prayer and about the magic that you're spilling out, right? And, with this, I'm thinking a lot about the Sword in the Stone lately. And, Merlin coming through and having his little cottage in the woods and, just kind of being ready to receive those who are ready to train with them. Now, I think we've lost a lot of our apprentice type of nature in our culture over the years, and we're actually going to be coming back to more of that, because how we want to grow and learn is through the energy of somebody who has actually done it. And these bigger training programs aren't how we need to learn and grow anymore. Now, it might be a fit for some of you or in certain circumstances. Oh, this is so beautiful, you guys. I'm just like so moved by these cards right now. I could cry. So especially as the feminine, I think there is such a, they're like, God, it's rising. And I'm just like, yeah, shirts off, boobs out, like tits up. I'm not even wearing a bra right now. You can see my nipples. Not actually. But anyway, the point of this and what I'm sharing is that more of us are unlocking the ancient memory of our gifts, right? And this is kind of what this card was talking about too. It's like everything's coming alive and activated online. I wouldn't, for one, I'd be too, not scared, it's not the right word, but I was feeling too protective with my energy before to share in this way. And it feels so good to be able to do now. Every day I make these videos and I'm like, wow, like I feel better and fuller in myself, and I feel this like great expansion going on. And honestly, we've got another airplane flying above, so whoosh, whoosh. We're clearing the crown chakra today. We're clearing the throat chakra, the third eye. We're clearing this heart thing. We're big expansion right now. I feel it with this communication energy. And we're connecting these heart chakras as we do this work. Now, what was it saying? Oh, yes. You're amazing. That's what I was saying. And me too. Thank you. Nutmeg's having a great time back there. Okay, so I'm getting a little ungrounded. I should have a smoothie. I'm also just very excited to be doing this. Okay, so we've got our enchanter energy here, all right? This is what I see, the goddess rising, the woman, the feminine energy coming back into her divine essence. It's been suppressed for a long time. It is awakening. Like, there's no holding it back. Now, this is coming through in different ways for everybody. I know that a lot of star seeds and light workers and like whatever celestial beings you want to call us here on Earth, we are all like, we got to come online, we got to make videos, we got to do this stuff. And it honestly, it doesn't even matter if anybody watches them. It's just like, this is how we're amplifying the light, right? And I was talking about it with one friend, and we were just like, holy moly, like just by the intention of making the connection to the greater good, which we were always doing, but like taking an extra step to share it out, we're doing this work even more. And it's so funny because you find other people who are in this community, but you're usually all spread about. So it's like, nobody else is doing this and I'm weird, and it doesn't matter. Like, be in your sorcerer, be in your enchantress, whatever, like enchantress. I love that word. I'm like, yes, I want to be enchanting. And it's not like through spells. It's like, it's enchanting is to help people expand into something that's more joyful. Anyway, so I love this. We got some wisdom up here. We got this like sacred library of great work. We've got all the talismans to create this magical portal. Now, right below, the beautiful card that showed up is the Lovers. All right, which we always love to get. I especially love it in this deck because it feels so connected and it's so present. Now, this ties into this sacred tree of life, right? As we connect with Mother Nature, we're actually connecting more with the divine feminine in our lives, right? Within ourselves and within our unions. I feel like what this card really represents, and sometimes the Lovers can represent a choice, but the choice that's being made very specifically in this card is to be together, and it is to be together in nature. It is to drop in, it is to hold one another, and it's to be present. Now, what I love, too, it's the man laying in the woman's lap, right? So what this says to me is the healing that's going on in whatever communication dynamic that you are in is profound. And we're in part 2, and part 2 feels like it's been so much more of like how this is all going to show up in the real world, right? Like part 1, we did like, this is the energetic medicine, here's the clearing. Part 2 is just like, here's what we're looking at, right? This is what's happening. We on a higher level are re-engaging our connection to the divine feminine, to Mother Earth, to this new Earth life. And at the same time, the beloveds are showing up, and they're not running away. They're being present. They want to do the work because they also want to heal this sacred tree of life. We have to come back together. It is our destiny. It is there is no option not to at this point. Sacred union is our birthright, both within ourselves and within our external lives. Now, what we are learning right now is that's going to look in a myriad of ways, and there's a lot of shedding of the fantasies of what what this once looked like. Now, the shared energy, and you're gonna freak out because I did, is the Two of Visions. All right, this is the Two of Cups. This is a soulmate card, right? So this is the indication that the work you're doing with your inner beloved is helping manifest this outer beloved into reality, as manifesting connections. In both the masculine card and the shared energy card, we got two people holding hands, being together. They're making connections. They're balancing their energies. They're being in this giving, receiving. And it's all because of this work of the priestess holding it freaking down. Priestess, enchantress, enchanter, wizard. Like, it's all of that. It is embracing our magic so that everything can show up that we have been longing for our entire lives. And I believe this with the entirety of my being, because I've been praying for it since I had words to pray for it. And even before then, I've always longed for union. And I'm just as excited as you guys, because this reading is just as much for me as it is for all of you. Now, what do we see in this? We see presence, we see connection, we see being in nature, we see an acknowledgement. Y'all. The inner journey is revealing an acknowledgement that is going on. Whoa. Really good stuff. Okay, we're going to continue on. I just looked. It was 16:16 at the recording time, and that seems aligned. It also, that adds up to 7/7, so it's lucky. I feel like there's some external forces that are working also to bring people together, like external circumstances. A lot of times, there's been external circumstances that create blocks and slow a process or obstruct. And a lot of now there's going to be things that are coming together that encourage more communion. And I'm feeling that very strongly because Mother Nature is involved. In my last dance with another, we often had extreme weather things happen, and it was really cool, and I acknowledged it more of what it was. I was like, is this a catalyst? Is this an omen? But really it was a clearing, right? And that clearing, it was an accelerated clearing. We had to have a lot of elementals come and clear the work within our souls and the grid work that we did while we were dancing, more specifically. Okay, so now we're very specifically going to look at the external energies, all right? What we just saw was like the internal world. We're still in the world. I haven't done inner child yet. Do we need to do inner child? I'm getting a no. Okay, well, all right. So I guess we're going straight to the external world. We might do inner child after that, but we're looking at the external first. All right, so external for the feminine, okay? All right, we got Two of Swords, all right? And for the masculine, we got Two of Pentacles, all right? Very interesting of how this is showing up externally. Okay, you guys. Whew. All right. All right, this is so good. I had to get that released. Okay, Two of Swords, feminine, all right? What we have here is mental energies that are running us in too many directions at a time. We're like blindfolded, like moving our way through, being like, I know I'm feeling for the thing. I can't decide what it is that I want to feel. There's a lot going on with this too. There's a lot of mental indecision, unclarity, and this is what's showing up in the physical right now, okay? Now we know with the internal energies, we've got some remedies going on where we can soothe this, right? But this might just be the present right now, that we are in this space of like trying to sort it out, all right? And what I'm also getting is there might be a conflict within the world. I know for myself, it's just like, man, should I just let go of love and relationships altogether? Now, of course, no. But I'm busy. I got work to do. I got mission to pursue. And this isn't coming from the lower perspective that we were talking about earlier, where the masculine's kind of trapped in some jobs and some lower patterns. Like, all of that's being transmuted right now. The men are letting that go, or they are at least being asked to assess and look at it. And the first step is acknowledgement, right? Now, what I find that she's getting caught up is she has engaged with her purpose, but there's still this split that's happening. It's like, can I have a career if I'm also going to be a mother? Like, everything is possible right now. So, like, these mental energies are, she doesn't look like she's in pain, though. Like, she knows that this is a process, and I think that this is a really good indicative sign of the growth process that's happening. And I love that both of these cards are 2 now, because now we've gotten 2 of Visions, we've gotten 2 of Swords, and we've gotten 2 of Pentacles here with the masculine. Now, with the masculine, this is the balancing act, right? It's the balancing of the higher purpose and the union. It's the balancing of both of these things, right? Now, woman's still just working with the mental balancing. Physically, we know that most women don't have problem juggling multiple things at a time, right? And I will say that although she is blindfolded, she is looking out, right? And more so, when we look within the context of the spread, we can see that this image, she's looking back, which shows to me that it's almost a past assessment. I know for myself that often, when going through a separation, I would then just throw myself into my work. And I'm like, that's not the medicine anymore. And it's not about getting busy or distracting myself. It's being present with what is and being intentional on how I want to move forward and what I'm calling in simultaneously. So I do think that there's a looking back, there's a lot of life review and I think for myself it's been specifically this life, although some past life layers have come up as well. Now, the masculine, all about balancing right now, but this image is looking within, right? It's kind of looking in, it's holding this part of how do I want to do this, which is interesting because this internal energy he's looking out, he's looking at his beloved. All right. So I think that there is a true assessment of if I want to make space in my life for love and relationships and for having another path, like I really have to look and assess at what's being balanced. I do think I want to draw, before I reveal the third energy, I'm going to draw 2 more cards here for specification on the feminine and the masculine within these 2 energies. Okay. For the feminine there, we've got the Knight of Cups. Okay. Oh. And fascinating. Okay. Whoo! Guys, this is big stuff. It really is. And I've connected with my friend recently. We were talking, we're like, man, like, the readings are pretty optimistic lately. Like, they're pretty joyful. Like, I feel like a year ago, like, it was still a lot of slugs, like, just, like, denser energies. The cards themselves felt heavier, but there's just so much light coming through. Okay, so, of course, we love a Knight of Cups energy. And what I see here is she's looking back, but she's also not seeing the man that's showing up for her, right? So this is a clarification for me that there's almost a reversal happening of the women. We are looking more away from partnership, like, even though it's still what we want, but we're looking away, and like, because there's been so much BS in the past that's created so much pain, and we have healed this. Like, her heart feels pretty open to me, and we have healed a lot of that tumultuous in the heart, but it's like, can we see the man showing up in front of us with the roses and the white horse, and, being ready to ride off in the sunset. Now, this same process is also assessing where it is that we've fallen way to our whimsical fantasies, right? Now, there is fantasy where you hold the vibration of the reality that is possible, and then there's fantasy that's rooted in expectation. And I think it's good to deconstruct both of them, because, we don't want to be disappointed if he doesn't show up with flowers. Although he absolutely should. And anyway, but she even has a light smile. Also, the energy I get from these cards, and again, this is just from the feminine, there's a real proposal energy kind of coming through. And, you know, I'm not saying that has to be a wedding proposal. It could just be a shared venture proposal. It could be just being asked out on a date. But what I see here is this element of surprise and of kind of like, it's almost like, okay, we've been tired. We're tired of hearing like, let the masculine guide, let him do. They don't know where the fuck they're going half the time, right? But there are many of them that are starting to show up and they want to see where it goes. Now, I don't ever want to get in an airplane or really in a car and just see where it goes. I generally want to have a direction of where I'm going, right? But he has a horse here, right? And the horse is like ready to ride. Hell yeah, he looks ready to ride too. Didn't say, you didn't hear it from me. Anyway, very handsome man is all I'm saying. I like this vibe. He's got a fruit basket. He's got a little envelope there and a singing bowl. There's so much intention. So he's been doing the work and he wants to show up. He wants to honor the goddess. All right. And I love this white horse. So these cards feel really good to me. Now, again, just the way the things are reflected in this, she is kind of looking towards the direction. So I love that in the reflection too of how I share. When I put the cards down, I get one reading, and then when I pull them up to Hugh, I get another reading. All right. Because there's multiple layers to this process, and this is what we're moving through. So that is an awesome clarification. All right. And I think to sum it up is what we're working with here is, you know, release the distortions and the expectations and really allow not the fantasy to come being, but allow the gratitude of the reality that is presented for you and the kindness and the gentleness. Okay, so for the man, all right, for the masculine here, we got this too, and then we got the Hanged Man. This has come up a lot personally for me, and what I'm seeing for the masculine as a whole. Now, there is a period of suspension as they're working on balancing. I think they are very clear that they want union and they want to be with a beloved. They're just not sure how to do it entirely yet. They're working to show up as this, but they might not know exactly. Now, you could have a man who is already, or a partner who is ready to show up as this, and I highly support that. We want that. And again, this is happening for us internally and externally. I can't say that enough times. So, Hanged Man energy, there is a period of suspension. This is always intentional suspension. Now, what I love about these cards is she's like on an aerial silk and like, having a great time being on an aerial silk, and it's an intentional practice, right? There's a lot of like lightning and like light language kind of flying around here. That shows me that like they're having a perspective reversal right now. And I think that perspective reversal is like, holy shit, the relationship's gotta come first, right? I mean, that's the message I'm getting from the cards. Now, am I seeing that totally show up in my own life? A little bit. I'm seeing indications of it. I'm seeing I'm seeing the masculine start to show up in different ways. Yes. I'm starting to see them share themselves in different ways, but it's new, right? And it's going to be a little messy because they're still figuring out how to do it, right? They're still finding that balance of how to have a more reflective inward journey and share it simultaneously, right? So if this is the internal work that's happening, finding the balance of it, and and we might see a little pause. It might be a pause in communication. It might be a pause in these things. Like, there is a suspension energy coming from the masculine right now, and that's okay. Our job too is to trust that as they do that work, it's actually allowing them to come into this type of energy more so. I mean, we don't know if they're going to be this bold and beautiful, but we can hold the vision for it. Okay. Lastly here, the big reveal of the third energy is the Chariot. All right. Whoa. Okay. This means that things are quickening. Things are on their way. And I love that there's the balance of the dark and the light, the shadows. I also, based on the two, we had these two of swords and pentacles. We also have this, two of cups. Having all of this with this, and this also feels tied into the third energy. So I feel like there's more of being driven by the higher selves and the higher truth, right? Now, this is a more like, and to tie it back to, I think that was from something else. But anyway, this is looking really good. This is good movement. Now, the next card that came out for clarification was the wheel. All right. And there's going to be a sudden turn of events, and it is coming fast, and it is coming furious. And by furious, I mean passionate and loving and exciting, and not mad. It's it's just, there's an alchemical energy. There's a big shift and change that is on its way. All right. And I actually, for my own reading, drew these two same cards together just yesterday. So I'm deeply fascinated by that. The Chariot and the Wheel together, that I think there's, especially for the feminine, it's like I feel like a lot of the, whether it's grid work or spell work, the prayer work, the intentional work that has been being done is just going to be like, and it's here, and we've done it, and now we're the playing field feels more levelized. This is getting kind of long, but I think I want. Do I want one more card on this? I want one more card on this. As to what that looks like with a Chariot and the Wheel together. What does that look like in the physical? Two of Wands. So we got a full 2 spectrum here. Now 2 is bringing unity. The message that's coming through is travel. All right, that the seeing the world of global expansion, new earth, holding the vision and seeing it, right? This is really what I get from this 2 of Wands card. Now, this is where this is going with the Chariot and the Wheel is 2 of Wands. And I think, so many people want like van life. They want, there's a surfboard in that. They want to see the ocean. They want to be by the sea. I really feel that this wand and energy is about not just travel, but really like visions coming into reality, is what I get from that 2 of Wands. I'm going to sum this up right now with one shamanic oracle card. We're not even going to do the 3. One shamanic oracle card. Here we go. Divine timing. Yep. And look. Holy crap. Divine timing with 2 little kissing birds coming together in union. And this is a very personal fact about me, but my love altar for a long time has been 2 bird figurines, and I actually have 2 other bird figurines as well, and they sit, and I arrange them very specifically, so this is hugely divine timing. Now, I get, it's divine timing as it relates with spirit, and I love that, in this, it's like, spirit's kind of like guiding the ride. This is like, we are the higher energies now, like, we are embodied with spirit, like, everything else is good. Like, we have come into our higher selves. Really beautiful stuff here. This last one was more of a reading than a healing, but my intention is always that the readings are healings. And, whatever your situation looks like within your own internal unions and the external union with your outer beloved, I want to celebrate you all for being on this path and doing this work. It is not an easy one. I think as initiates, we've always been on the journey. But when I was first initiated onto the path in a conscious way was back in 2011. And, suddenly understanding why everything that happens to you is happening for a reason, and that the love that came before became the love that came before the love became before the love, like, is all a part of the intricate story of our healing and our healing of the sacred other, be that our own internal masculine and feminine, as well as our external with our outer beloveds and their own journeys within that. So I just want to celebrate, sit back, enjoy the ride. Don't push right now. Acknowledge the suspension that the masculine is going through, both within yourselves and perhaps within your outer connections as well. And keep on keeping on. And please reach out for support if you'd like it. I'd love to connect with people one-on-one, and we can hone in more deeply on this. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling a lot lighter after doing this reading, and many blessings to you all.